What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 16 of the HEXAGON Challenge here with New York City FC. And today I have a game for you guys against DC United. It's going to be in the Yankee Stadium, of course. We're at home for this one. Hopefully you can have a good game. The reason I'm doing this game and not the Philadelphia game I mentioned I was going to do before is just because of a weird run of fixtures. So if we look at the kind of what's going on here, you can see that we actually finish for the summer break at the 22nd of June. So we've got 3 games left until a bit of a winter break. It's just under a month long. So you're probably wondering, Jack, where's the problem? Well, the issue is that our international competition actually starts before the next Philadelphia game. Now, fortunately for me, Football Manager's quite kind in regards to the fact that you can be in France and in America at the same time for 2 games within 2 days of each other. However, it does kind of throw a bit of a spanner into the works because with this being the Euros, I do actually want to focus on it. So my plan is to do the game here against DC United. Then next episode and probably the next few episodes, we will be focusing on the Euro Under-21s Championship. And then we'll come back after the kind of summer break here in the US, review the transfers which will have gone on and kind of get ready for the second half of the season. So I'm sorry to any Philadelphia fans who are really looking forward to me taking on the Union. Hopefully you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I'm sure we'll play them some other time because they are really, really high up in the division. They're actually top at the moment and they're going very, very strong. Anyway, since the last episode, a few games to tell you guys about. We've actually played a fair few. I also want to just quickly apologise. I'm still experimenting with this mic stand. Last episode, there was a few bits where my audio kind of maxed out. Hopefully, it's a little bit better today. Hopefully, once we get all the settings set, get the kind of condenser set up properly, I work out what the optimal distance away from me the microphone should be, we'll have beautiful crisp audio and you guys will see the improvements. But anyway, since that epic live come last time out, which was that 4-2 win against New York Red Bulls, which was a great result, fair few results to tell you guys about. First of which was a draw away from home against the Seattle Sounders. Disappointing this one a little bit, perhaps even more so because we did take the lead in the last 10 minutes before giving it up. John Rowe getting an equaliser for them in the 86th minute. The next game was a win, however, against Houston Dynamo. We actually were winning this game at the half kind of time. 2-0, Matias Ramirez grabbing 2 goals for us. Unfortunately, Houston Dynamo did score in the second half and squeaky bum time did commence. However, we held on for a vital 2-1 win. And actually, looking at our results here, 2-1 was a recurring theme, as in the next game, we lost 2-1 against Portland Timbers. This game, Portland were probably a little bit fortunate, if I'm honest. I mean, we only scored the 1 goal and we didn't give ourselves a massive chance, I guess, in this game. But when you look at the stats, particularly the shots on target, shots, we probably were the better team. It was one of those games where you feel a little bit hard done by, but at the same time, you don't want to complain too much because ultimately the difference was just how clinical players were. Anyway, as I mentioned, 2-1 a recurring theme. The next game against Sporting Kansas, a comeback from behind. Matias Ramirez again grabbing a brace for us. We dominated this game. We were perhaps unfortunate at half-time to go in 1-0 down, but the players really stepped up in the second half. And Matias Ramirez, on loan from Granada, has just been a massive player for us. I'm actually currently in the process of trying to get him on loan until the end of next year, so extend his loan by another 1.5 years from the date now, which would be absolutely insane if we could do. And I'm hoping that Granada are going to approve it. They've accepted it initially. I don't see any reason why he won't want to stay with us while he plays as well as he is. So that's going to be a good little bit of business, I think, if that goes through. Anyway, the next result, another 2-1 win, this time against Vancouver Whitecaps. This game, very fortunate. Jefferson Mena scoring us a late winner here, the Colombian. Fantastic performance by him. And Frank Lampard actually getting, again, a 6.7. You'll notice as we go through this, Frank Lampard's still awful. And I am going to be looking to replace him. And, well, we've got replacements coming in. It's just a case of waiting for them to, I guess, come in on the 10th of January. Or, sorry, not the 10th of January. The 10th of July. Because that is kind of when the transfer window reopens here in the US. Anyway, the next result was against bottom of the pile FC Dallas. They were bottom of the kind of entirety of both conferences. I was confident, and at half-time, 2-0 up, I was loving it. Stefani went off. He bruised his head, I want to say. It was a thigh injury even. I don't know where I got bruised head from, but he got a thigh injury, got subbed off, and in the second half, it just wasn't the same. FC Dallas, I don't know what was said at half-time, but they came out the traps flying, and they got 3 goals, including an 85th minute winner, which was really heartbreaking, to win 3-2. Fortunately, however, we did end this run of fixtures on a high, beating Montreal Impact 3-0. Of course, Didier Drogba-less. You'll notice here Mike Morris getting the Man of the Match award, got an assist. Poku also getting a double assist, which was really nice. And actually, Frank Lampard scored, so I should shut up and not criticise him as much, apparently. But yeah, all in all, pretty good results. With those results, we actually kind of maintain where we were before, really, in the league. Worth noting, we do have a few games in hand, which if we were to win, could see us actually go top of the table. Of course, things don't always work out that way, but it's worth kind of being aware, I guess, of the fact that we have played less games than other teams, and if we were to win them, we could kind of launch ourselves right up there in the MLS table. And of course, with our summer signings coming in, I'm hoping that might be the case. Anyway, looking at the transfers that we have got coming in, we've got, of course, a few guys coming at the end of their contracts. I might be able to sign Tom Webb here from Waitakere. He might be coming in for 650k. Part of me is probably thinking that this isn't going to happen now just because we don't actually have the money to make the deal occur. But you never know, we might be able to scrape some money from somewhere. There are a few players potentially leaving, so that's a maybe. We have got Jorge Robles. I guess it's Robles. I want to think he's Spanish, but he probably isn't. He's probably just called George. He is just called George. I don't know why I think a George spelt with a J is Spanish. But yeah, we've got George Robles joining us from Waitakere. Just a good player. One of the nice things about signing players from Waitakere is the fact that their wage demands are absolutely tiny, which is quite nice, obviously, given our limited budget. I've noticed an emerging trend where a lot of our senior players are actually on kind of the maximum senior wage of $438,000 a year. As a result, I want to get in some cheaper players, get those backups who are kind of slightly less demanding when it comes to their wage demands. And I guess a few of these players that you'll see us signing from Waitakere kind of fit that mould. One little bit of news, Javi Munoz, who we've signed from Real Madrid, broke his leg. So he's out for the rest of the year when he joins, which is bloody brilliant. So that's a transfer that we've made, but isn't really going to have an impact on us till next year. Another transfer that might be happening is Philip Foos from Waitakere. They have pretty hefty demands, but he is getting a little bit unhappy, kicking up a fuss. You can see he's just unhappy about the high asking price. We put in a pretty reasonable bid, in my opinion, of $180,000. That might be happening there. We have now signed Junior Flores. He's joining us on a free transfer from Dortmund. Pretty happy with this guy. He comes in as an American national, which is nice because it means he's not taking up an international player slot. Joins us on a free, and again, he has those low wage demands I mentioned. Next player who might be coming in would be an absolute coup, and it's Leroy Fer, joining us from QPR, the Dutch international, a player who, if we could get in at 29 years old, I'd be very happy about. He'd probably partner Rabiot, and to be honest, he'd be more than a kind of adequate replacement for Mix, who of course left us for, I think it was $6 million. They're kind of quite similar players in a lot of ways. Leroy Fer perhaps doesn't have the same level of consistency, but similar ages. Leroy Fer would be a really, really adequate replacement. And the fact he's willing to take such a hefty wage cut and come in as a non-DP is kind of pleasing. And if that deal goes through, that's probably on par with the Rabiot deal in terms of bargains that we've achieved on this save so far. Anyway, there were a few trades that I've done. I don't know if I can show trade history. Can I? Is there a trade? All trades. Here we go. So I have done some trades, and this is going to be a little bit confusing. And to be honest, I don't know if these deals are good or bad. So let me know in the comments what you think of them. But a few people warned me that with the drafts, the picks aren't actually worth that much in FM terms. So I've actually been trading a few of them away. So you'll see two trades which we'd already done with Seattle Sounders earlier on in this save. But I have recently traded away a few of our trades picks. And you'll see that I've sold them on for around $925,000. I've also purchased Philip Foos' rights from New York Red Bulls for $200k. The reason I did that was because I didn't think that Waitakere were going to want that much for him, and it seemed like a bit of a steal at the time. Unfortunately, Waitakere are kind of sticking a roadblock in the way. Worth noting, however, contract is running out at the end of next year, so we would be able to kind of steal him away on a free come January time. Anyway, so good to get the rights for him sorted. But yeah, let me know what you make of these two kind of tradeaways. I've given away my first round picks. I'm aware that some people might think that's a massive problem. I've seen the Super Draft kind of play out in FM a few times, but I'm not that experienced with it. But to my understanding, some of the players you get really aren't that great. And particularly with the money that we've got here going towards players from Waitakere, I think that in terms of the players we're actually going to end up getting with that money, it's probably going to be better in terms of the actual player quality than the picks we'd get from the draft picks we've surrendered. So I kind of feel like it's going to work out for the better anyway. Anyway, that's a little bit about what's going on the transfer front. We've talked about the kind of fixture situations. This is going to be the last game until that big kind of summer break, and then we'll come back. Of course, I'm not going to concentrate too much on the national team stuff going on with France, but we have played some games. I'll talk more about that next episode and the next few, because really the next 3, 4 or 5 episodes, depending on how far we get in the Euros, will be kind of all international based. So anyway, DC United, not the strongest team in the league by any means, so I'm hoping that going into this game we can just get a nice win to end things off. It's worth noting that our squad is a little bit depleted at the moment. We've got a few suspensions, got a few players out. That is as of a result of the kind of recent deals that have been going on. We have got, of course, these two guys as well who are on reserve contracts, Jeff Fisher and Mohamed, who can come into the squad, I do believe, to help us pad out our bench just a little bit. And in fact, Fisher wants to play centre-back, which I'm not actually against, really. Not too bad of a player. There is one transfer that's happened on the outs, which I've not touched upon yet, and that is actually Maki Bagnak going on loan to, I guess it's Heerenveen? Let me know, Dutch viewers. I know that you exist. Please tell me how to pronounce. I think it's Heerenveen. That doesn't sound right, but we'll go with it. And the reason I've loaned this guy out, there's a few reasons. First and foremost, we have a new centre-back coming in kind of the summer transfer window in the form of, I need to make sure I get the right guy here, Yambere, who's joining us, who's a better centre-back than Bagnak anyway. The other reason I've decided to loan him out is because we've got Jefferson Mena, and we have also got Doniel Henry, who are both very good kind of centre-backs who are going to be in the squad. That still might not make that much sense. Why would you want to loan out a player you signed, Jack? Well, if we look here, we signed him for £525,000. He's played half the games this year, but as I mentioned, new centre-back coming in, going to really force Bagnak into kind of 4th or 5th choice centre-back. And the loan deal that we've got is his entire wages being paid for by the Dutch side, but we get $1.1 million in fees for the loan. So we're actually going to make a little bit of money on him just being on loan out for the year. And then he can come back and we still have him as our own player. So it kind of made sense in a few ways. First and foremost, it means that we throw up an international player spot in our registered squad. Secondly, we make a little bit of money. And thirdly, with the new centre-backs we've got coming in, it means we've got one less person to, I guess, keep happy and ensure he's playing first-team football. Unfortunately, today, it's backfired just a little bit because of the suspensions and injuries that we've got and the international match that Doniel Henry's involved in. But other than that, I think it's going to work out in our favour long term. So looking at the squad for today's game, this is what the assistant has picked. I'm probably going to change it ever so slightly. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how we're getting on here. It's still not kind of completely stand out, I think. There is still improvements to be made. The centre-mid position is a position that I definitely will be improving. And, well, you've seen, we've got Rabiot coming in. We've got Leroy Fer. It's going to be a position that is substantially kind of stronger post-summer break. Unfortunately, with Mix leaving us slightly earlier because he's left when the Mexican transfer window opened, we are caught a little bit bare at the back. And particularly in the centre-mid positions. But I am pretty hopeful that given our fairly strong start to the season so far, I believe we are 6th in the kind of the Supporter Shield's combined conference table. We're going to be in a good position and we should really be aiming for the playoffs this year. It's worth noting that the board expectation, I believe, was mid-table. I believe the kind of predicted finish was 9th in total, and at the moment we sit in 5th. So we're definitely doing better than what was expected of us. And of course, as I mentioned, post-summer, a few new players, new designated player in Rabiot. I think we're going to be in a pretty good situation. If we could get a win today against DC United, that would be fantastic. Of course, as I mentioned, they are low down in the division. We have a chance here, cleared off the line, however. But the fact they're low down in the division really doesn't mean that much. As I discovered against FC Dallas just a few games ago, 2-0 up against the team bottom of the table, I was having a laugh and it completely backfired on me. And that's got to be something that we're wary of here. And I don't want any of that kind of complacency slipping into our game today. We should be winning this game comfortably. I'm hoping we can do something. Apparently we're struggling to keep the ball and we're not taking chances that come our way. Looking at the stats, we're having slightly less possession, but we are on the attack here. Tackled away though. Mena though, the Colombian, going to win it. Poku, out wide to Rojas. Morris, Mikey Morris, can he make something happen? He can. Sean Franklin comes through the back of him, wins us a penalty. And now it's all going to be on David Villa to convert from the spot. 35 minutes in, a goal here. would put us in a nice position going into half-time, and we have a chance. Franklin going to get a yellow card for it. We've actually had 2 clear-cut chances. This is going to be our third. Can we score? We can. Keeper goes the right way, but David Villa's finish finds the back of the net. His second goal of the year. His contract definitely doesn't warrant kind of the performances he's been giving us at the moment, but a goal there. If he could get a few more in this, his last senior kind of season as a player, because he is retiring at the end of the year with Frank Lampard, that would be fantastic. Keeper, perhaps a little bit unlucky, goes the right way, just doesn't get a hand to it. But we're not going to complain one little bit. David Villa absolutely loving it. And at the break, does look like it's going to go kind of in 1-0, and we are going to be ahead here, unless there's a late chance, which there is. And it is actually in favour of FC Dallas, you'd think. They're bringing the ball forward. Kodro here, looking for an option on ahead. Cooper saved, and Guzan holds on to it. Brad Guzan, fantastic save there. Smothers the ball. And the goalkeeper, who of course we signed from Fiorentina, doing quite nicely between the sticks there. Going to encourage the players. I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. Of course, we do want to keep going here. I probably should have done a team talk warning against complacency, you know, especially after that game that I mentioned against FC Dallas. But I'm hoping today, you know, it's a different day. We're at home for this match. I'm hoping it's going to be a more mature performance in this second half. Of course, we've got David Villa playing, you know, an intelligent head in the midfield. Hopefully he can kind of keep players switched on. And speaking of the devil, here he is. He gives away the ball, and now Cooper bringing the ball forward. Fisher tries to make a save. Ball hits the side netting, and we are spared right there. A clear-cut chance for DC United. And a bit of a let-off for us. 35 minutes left there or thereabouts. Looking at the stats, we're ahead. But we're not kind of comfortably ahead. We are not pulling away here. Federico Mohamed is struggling a little bit, so I'm going to make a change. I'm going to bring in Damien Lowe. Now, I don't believe Damien Lowe can actually play centre mid, but he has the attributes to play there. We're going to play him out of position. He can play defensive mid, so it's not kind of a completely new task to him, I guess, playing centre mid, but it is going to be perhaps slightly out of his comfort zone. But due to the lack of centre mids we have at the moment, it is a change we are going to have to make here. But if we could win this game, it'd be a nice way to go kind of into the summer break as far as we're concerned, ending on a high in terms of live comms. As I said, there's 2 more games that are going to be coming up. I'm not going to be covering them because of the international stuff going on, but yeah, it's a good start to the year and a good first kind of 6 months, I guess, in charge of New York City FC. I'm just watching the time here and hoping it's going to tick away. There's 3 minutes left. It looks like it is going to end right now. 1-0. Would have liked a more convincing result, perhaps, against DC United, considering their league table finish. But it's a win. It's nice to get a second win on the bounce. It actually sees us go in line, I guess, and on level points with New England Revolution. I don't know why I want to say New York. I feel like it's because I see New at the start and my brain just thinks, well, if it starts with New, it's got to end in Orc. That's not true, though, because that's New England, Jack. Fisher makes his debut. How did he get on? A 7.2 rating for him. I think we drafted him this year. Did we draft him this year? We did. Well, not a bad debut for him. A 7.2 average rating. Joined us from AS Connecticut. Can't complain about that. We have one of the lowest average transfer net outlays, but we're performing well. Do you think spending's overrated? No? Okay, excellent stuff. So, news item here. Ramirez, who's been a great player for us this year. His loan has been extended to the end of next year. So, it's actually going to be ending... When is it going to be ending? Let's check this. The loan expires in 2021. Oh, no, wait, no, ignore me. 31st of the 12th, 2019. I swear I just extended it for a year. Maybe it's not updated yet. Maybe we have to continue once. Although, actually, no, I think Granada have accepted, the players got to accept terms. I'm having a brain fart right here. Just not with it today. Anyway, good win there. Sees us get 5 wins in our last 7, which is particularly good. The goal kind of margin has been a little bit narrow, but with some new additions coming in the summer, hopefully we can make a difference there. As always, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Next time out, we will be focusing on our national job in France, and that will be the focus for the next few episodes. Hopefully, I'll see you guys for them. We will have a chance at silverware in the Euros, but it is a very, very tricky competition, and we are not ranked favourites for it. But all in all, yeah, looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys are too. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like. If you've got any comments with regards to my transfers, all that good stuff, it could be the rules, any questions you have about MLS, leave them down below. Hopefully I can answer them. If I can't, there's loads of Americans watching at the moment. I know you guys exist. I want you guys to help anyone in the comments, like myself, who's a bumbling European or English person who's kind of stumbled it across American soccer, or of course anyone from anywhere else, because of course this is an international channel, Jack. We're not all from Europe, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, like the fact you're not from Europe is a bad thing. Right, I'm digging a hole here. Someone give me a spade, because I'm going to keep digging if I keep on going on. Let's stop rambling right now. Guys, thank you for watching. Next time out, we will be taking on, I believe it's the Dutch under-21 squad, which is going to be a tricky game as our France international side. And yeah, hopefully you'll stick around for that. It is me, Jack. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.